to you from Jakarta. We are at Plug and Play in the Generali building. We had a bit of trouble getting here, and I'm sitting here with Jessica Marthin. Jessica, how are you?
Good. Well, thank you for coming to our office despite the traffic.
And despite the traffic in Jakarta is it's crazy. It's crazy, but it was a bit of fun. So Jessica, just by way of background, can you tell us first of all a little bit about yourself, and then we'll talk a little bit about what Plug and Play is all about.
All right, cool. Thanks for the opportunity. Hi, guys. I'm Jessica Marthin. I'm the community manager at Plug and Play Indonesia. I've been with the company for around a year now, and seeing how Plug and Play came to Indonesia, helping the team to set up everything from ground. It's been like a great journey because we are basically the largest global startup accelerator based out of Silicon Valley. So I'm very proud to be a part of the team and building the ecosystem here in Indonesia. And funny story, we actually came to Indonesia because President Joko Widodo visited our HQ. And that's when it started. So he was very excited to hear what we've done in so many other countries, and he basically invited us. So a couple months later, we came to Indonesia with our CEO, and then we visited the presidential palace, and that's when Plug and Play Indonesia was born. So.
Wow, so Plug and Play is actually a Silicon Valley initiative?
Yes. Yeah. We've been, an accelerator since 2006. So we are one of the earliest player, and we are actually the most active VC in Silicon Valley. If you go to the Silicon Valley Business Journal, you'll see our name on the top of the list because we've helped so many startups, almost 600 plus globally.
Wow.
Throughout more than 20 offices in more than 10 countries. So we've run so many programs in different verticals, fintech, mobility, retail, media, you name it, anything, we've done it. So we are bringing this expertise to Indonesia in hope to help accelerate the growth of the startups, and hopefully we'll have more unicorns from here.
So unicorns is one of my pet subjects because I believe that it's not all about being the next unicorn. It's just about following your passion, and if you've got an entrepreneurial spirit, and if you're making a difference, and you're doing something that's going to change the world, then that's just as important as getting some heighty valuation and being named a unicorn, because they are mythical beasts. You realise that, don't you?
Well, yeah. Well, I really agree. Your point that it's really important to follow your passions, because that's actually one of the key criteria for us in choosing our startup. So, our first layer of application is online, so anyone from anywhere in the world actually can apply. If you have a running product, if you have your early traction, and if you are planning to really tackle the market in Indonesia, you can apply to our program. But then really what we're looking for is the quality of the founders, their commitment, their story, why did they, why they're doing what they're doing. So our selection process takes up to like 2 months because we take the time to sit down, over coffee with them and really chat and get to know them as a person. So I really agree with what you said. It's not just about the valuation. It's nice to have that number, but it's really about why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think the other important thing that I find is the purpose. Without a lack of purpose, because sometimes it's tough, right? Everyone says let's be a startup, and everybody wants to be a startup and wear a startup T-shirt. There's a little bit more to it than that, right? And without that purpose, it's very difficult to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go again.
Yes, agree. Actually, I have one of our startups here. Maybe she'll go next. But her name is Sarah. She's from Duit HP, or in English you would call it mobile money. So the reason why she started this, payment and remittance system, or mobile-based remittance systems, is she was in charge of she worked for an NGO that tried to tackle the poverty in Indonesia. So she has this hundreds of millions of US dollar to spread to throughout Indonesia, and she had a really hard time to do it. And so she thought 80% of the people do not have bank accounts. You cannot transfer money as easy as you would do in Australia or anywhere in the world. That's not the case for Indonesia. So, but everyone has mobile phone nowadays. So, as easy as if you can make like a technology where people can transfer money through SMS, that would be very helpful. So that's the reason why she started it. So stories like that are the ones that we try to get, and we try to help her to get her stories out there, and definitely from that, hopefully, like the end goal is really to help tackle the issues in Indonesia through this startups. It's this technology that we're nurturing here.
Yeah. So one of my observations, you can tell me whether I'm right or wrong about this, but I think we obviously been fortunate to be able to travel many parts of the world and see many ecosystems around the world. And in my journey over the last 30 years, I've lived and worked in many different places. I find in some places there's a little bit of apathy, probably in some of the more wealthy economies where, it's as we say in Australia, she'll be right, mate, everything will be okay. But I get a real sense here that there is this aspirational youth culture that's coming through here that really, just in 24 hours and talking to a lot of people that we've spoken to, it comes through. Is that a fair observation?
Yes, I would say that's very correct, because a lot of this is a trend that I'm looking at. I've been working in the industry for a year. A lot of the startups, the good ones at least, the ones that are successful, they have this, usually their story started from, a social problem that they observe, and then they end up trying to find the solution. And that's actually the case for most of our startups. We have one startup based out of Bali who is doing a trash waste management system, and the founder has been working with NGO before to help, solve this problem of waste management in Indonesia. It's very bad. That's not just basically not the main priority for the government, because we have a lot of other things, on the top of the list, like poverty, education, and stuff like that. We have startups in the agri-tech, helping out, trying to create a solution to help, create a fair price for the farmers, because she is a farmer herself.
Right.
She has a family, small farm basically.
So there's the purpose.
Yeah, so that's the purpose, and I think a lot of the good startups, at least from a plug and play perspective, we really like startups that are not just having that numbers, but trying to tackle like an actual social problems. So I would say you have a good observation.
So I think also the other part is around the world we're seeing economies driving to diversify their economies. We've come from this old world economy of the smokestack, the manufacturing era, and we're seeing a lot of manufacturing die, and we're seeing high tech, robotics, automation, artificial intelligence, and so a lot of countries around the world are trying to diversify their economy into this new economy. It seems to me that Indonesia's taken to that like a duck to water, but I think one of the problems that comes with that is typically